the genetics department. Would be handling metabolomics completely. And I am here in Sandor from 2010. I hold 13 years of experience with the metabolomics and the chromatography techniques. Today, I just want to give you a very brief of confirmatory tests. So that's the reason I was asking what you understood and what do you remember in the previous sessions of screening, newborn screening. This is just continuation of screening. Once the screening is done, then we recommend it for confirmation. So these are the confirmatory tests we recommend if there is an abnormality in the screening, and this is only for metabolites, that is 49 disorders and beyond that. So here we use HPLC and Gcms instruments for the confirmatory tests. So can anybody tell what is IEM or IMD?
That is inborn error of metabolism.
Metabolic disorder.
Yes, IMD. It's inborn metabolic disorder. It's one and the same, but nowadays it is called as IMD. Man, we'll go for next slide. Yes. So what do we do? Screening we have done. So we have got one abnormality. Then next, what do we do? We go for confirmatory tests. These confirmatory tests will tell about which metabolite. I'm talking about the metabolite. So which metabolite is accumulated in the body fluid. This is all about to identify the causative compound or the metabolite which causes the IMD. What happens is, I hope you remember yesterday's session, the enzymes would be involved where there is a deficient of the enzyme. In yesterday's session, you would have remembered that you check for the enzyme activity, right? So there you're checking for the enzyme activity and you are reporting the enzyme activity. But here you would be checking for the metabolite. Due to the enzyme defect, there is an accumulation of metabolite in the body fluid. That metabolite, if it is elevated, if it is abnormal, you're going to report that. Based on the analytes or the metabolites which are elevated, you interpret and say into which disorder or which category it falls into. So this is about like what you do in the confirmatory tests. So this helps in ruling out the organic acidurias, fatty acid disorders, urea cycle disorders, very long chain fatty acids, Terence defects, almost all together more than 100 and 150 plus disorders. Next slide. Please be little keen on this slide. I've given everything in this slide. We would be doing organic acidurias, fatty acid disorders, urea cycle disorders, all these disorders together, 1 or 3 disorders. These disorders are detected based on 131 analytes. We were talking about analytes, metabolites yesterday before yesterday, right? So hope you remember. So 131 metabolites, nothing but the organic compounds, very small molecules in the body fluid. We detect that. Based on the abnormality, we report these 1 or 3 disorders. So these 1 or 3 disorders includes organic acidurias, fatty acid defects, and urea cycle disorders. Right. Coming to amino acidopathies, there are above
Ma'am, this
30
one
disorders.
not three disorders, or it comes under compounds also. Compounds is same, ma'am.
Sorry?
103 compounds.
No, 131 compounds.
Okay, 131 compounds.
There are more. There are more. We are still adding. Now we almost
Still we
check
are
for
adding.
130. Now we almost check for 140 because thymine and few other analytes also added into it. So
Yeah.
day by day it goes or increase. Like we even we have to update it, right? So we
Yes,
update
yes,
our
yes.
things. So, but the basic picture is of 131 metabolites.
Okay, sir. Thank
This
you.
this this test is done on GCMS, gas chromatography, mass spectrometry. This is a semi-quantitative. I've given a flow diagram over there. You can just look into it. So GCMS has on GCMS we can perform two tests. That one is organic acids, which is a semi-quantitative method, and peroxisomal disorders, that is nothing but very long chain fatty acids, or you call VLCFA. It is a quantitative. Okay. Next, the HPLC, high performance liquid chromatography. We perform amino acidopathies and terrain defects. Both of them are quantitative. Can anybody say what is semi quantitative and quantitative or qualitative? Yes?
Quantitative are the with results with
Qu-
the units.
Hmm.
Qualitative, it says
Qualitative,
detects or not detect.
yeah.
Okay.
Quantitative, it gives values.
Okay. Then what is semi quantitative?
Semi-quantitative, like it's it gives like fish. Sorry, I couldn't remember that exactly, ma'am. Sorry,
Hmm.
you please continue.
Yes, you will come this in urine organic acid report
Mhm.
where we are giving it fold elevations. We are
Sorry,
not
what it's
giving fold elevation. We
okay.
have a
It
cutoff.
means
We have a cutoff. We
okay.
say that with this cutoff, this is elevated this many folds. We are not giving particularly. Say suppose if you take which is a common thing, common case is like propionic acidemia. In propionic acidemia, you would be looking for 3-hydroxypropionic acid, propionyl glycans, methyl citrates. So here, of these five analytes, we are not telling what is the concentration present in the body fluid. We are just telling this is the fold. We are not telling this is the amount of the analyte. When you look into the amino acid report, you can say that alanine is 536 micromoles and its cutoff is 200 or 300. It is elevated. But when you come to the organic acid report, I'll show you in the next slides. You say it as this is 13-fold elevated, 14-fold elevated. So we are not specifically giving the concentration exactly. So that's the reason we say this is as
It's a
a
semi-quantitative.
semi-quantitative.
It
Exactly.
means in lame language, it is that okay. It's in borderline. It's either in between the range. In semi-quantitative, we are not giving the exact value.
No, no, no. We say it is beyond the range. If it is normal, it
Okay,
is normal. If it is abnormal, if it is abnormal. But
less than or greater
abnormality,
than.
we are not measuring exact. See, you can give organic acids in quantitative form also. Then again, the methodology differs over there. The principle would be same, but the methodology differs over there because you have to add standards, internal standards over there. You have to go for quantification methods over there. We are not doing quantification method over here. That's the reason we say it as semi-quantitative. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So we are reporting only in the fold elevation forms. Right.
Noted.
Uh, then amino acids, like we look into 34 amino acids. You can check the report whenever you have. We will be reporting 34. And in organic acids, we only report. See, as I said, there are 131 metabolites which we check, which are abnormal, we report. If there is no abnormality in any analyte form, then we don't give any compound table. See, my session is mostly based on the queries, Munawar. Hope you can understand, Abdul can understand, because you are the guys like you have been with long term with me. All the session I'm going to conduct in such a way that all the queries which you guys were posing to me throughout this
Yes,
year,
ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
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 So we had many queries. Why can't we give 131 metabolites in the report? Hope you remember,
Yeah.
Manu, right?
Yes, exactly. Because we when we promote to doctors, these number of, but when it report goes, numbers will be less.
Exactly. So we whatever is abnormal report, like if I said like propionic acidemia, there are only five analytes or six analytes. Our compound table only shows those abnormal analytes. So many people, many doctors have doubt on that, you say 131 metabolites, but you only report 6 or only report 2. You can straight away tell to the doctor, this is our report format. It makes very easy to know which analyte is abnormal, only that we are reporting, which is significantly elevated, which has clinical significance. Only those analytes we would be reporting, and only those analytes would be interpreted. This
Okay.
will really not make any confusion to the physician who looks into the report, because they have to search for 131 compounds. In that, they have to search for the highlight, star marks or highlight, or anything in the other reports. Then look
Bold,
into
bold letters.
yes, look into the 131 and check for the bold ones. Then they segregate. No, not like that. We give a very compiled one. Only you can just, it's like served to the physicians. You can only look into the compound table and let know what is the disorder of that baby, right? But
Yes, ma'am.
when coming to amino acids, we give complete 34 compounds, because I give you a reason here. Because most of the amino acid cases are follow-up cases. Okay, all these disorders, see, as I said, like we are looking for the metabolites. So, in all amino acid metabolism is involved in these disorders. So, where is the precursor? Any amino acid of this 34 amino acids, any amino acid could be the. Mayank, could you please share that which I have mailed you just now? It would be a little easy for them to understand. Is it clear? Can everybody see this? Right. Hope this is clear. So just see here, guys. Leucine, isoleucine, and valine are branching amino acids. Okay. So this particular each amino acid's metabolism will give you this compounds. You can say these as intermediates of the pathway. I'll just read out for one. Leucine metabolism, when you take, there's two that is oxoisocaproic acid, isovaleric acid, crotonyl glycine, or methyl crotonyl CoA, or 3-hydroxy 3-methyl glutaryl CoA. So these are the metabolites which we are looking for in organic acids. Okay, but what we look in amino acids, we look in amino acids for only leucine or isoleucine or valine. Hope I'm not confusing.
No, please come back, ma'am.
See, you can see the screen, right, where it is showing leucine, isoleucine, and valine. These are the amino acids. Okay.
Okay.
So in any metabolism, there should be a precursor, right? Which is the main from where the metabolism starts. So now I can say that the leucine metabolism includes whatever with the arrow marks, whatever the analytes are given here. These are the organic compounds or the intermediates of the pathway. Okay,
Okay.
so these all the four whatever the analytes you see in black color, these are detected in GCMS, that is urine organic acids. These are the organic acids, very small molecules, which we detect in GCMS and in urine sample. This is semi quantitative, right?
Okay.
So based on the presence of these analytes, you can say it is isovaleric glycine, you can say it is only 2-methyl crotonyl glycine. So if you just look into the picture here, leucine would be elevated if there is a, see, you can see blue color IVD. Just look into the first path, 1 2 3, third one is IVD. Okay,
Okay.
if there is a block in that enzyme, IVD is enzyme, if there is a block in that enzyme, this CoA is nothing but isovaleric glycine, This analyte would be piled up in the urine sample. So based on this concentration of isovaleric glycine, we could say that this is isovaleric acidemia. This is a disorder name. If there is a block at IVD, say for suppose, if there is a block at BCKDH, that is nothing but branch chain ketodehydrogenase. If there is a defect in that enzyme, you could see only the leucine and oxoisocaproic acid elevated, but isovaleric glycine would be normal. So based on this elevation, we could say that it is branch chain amino acid disorder. That is nothing
Okay.
but Maple syrup urine disease. It is MSUD. In case if there is a defect in BC80, then only leucine would be elevated. None of the other metabolites which are beneath the leucine show any change in the concentrations. It is a combination of organic acids and amino acid. Try to understand very small logic involved in it. If you once understand this pathway, it is same for all the disorders. Am I clear till here?
Yes, madam.
Right? So it is in the same way you check for isoleucine, same way you check for valine. Yes, my slides. So please keep remember that those are the organic compounds or the small molecules which we detect and in GCMS and amino acids in HPLC. This is main. You're gonna sell mostly of this only. Well, coming to peroxisomal disorders and Terence defects. So, anybody have any idea of peroxisomal disorders or the very long chain fatty acids? When do we look or why we have to look for that? No? Right. Anyways, so in VLCFA, we report for 5 compounds. This is a quantitative again and only 4 disorders. You'll see in the next slide. And in Perrin's defects, there are 5 disorders which we will cover and only the 2 analytes, which is neopterin and biopterin. These are the products, as I showed you in the pathway. These are the other 2 products of phenylalanine metabolism. Next slide. This slide is okay, right? Because all your things covered in this slide only. Organic acids, amino acids, peroxisomal disorders, nothing but VLCFA, Terence, how many disorders, how many analytes, what analytes, everything in one slide. It is quantitative or semi-quantitative, which instrument you are using.
मैम ये VLCFA चेन को कब यूज करते हैं मैम? डॉक्टर्स मैक्सिममली शुगर लेवल डाउन होने से ना मैम?
Sorry?
बेबीज का VLCFA चेन का
Hmm. Hmm.
बेबी का शुगर लेवल डाउन होने से करते हैं मैम?
Sugar levels down होने से नहीं there are many things which are to be compiled to check for the VLCFA. Why only sugar levels?
No, because most of the in Nilofer doctors ask me right regarding this. That's the reason I'm asking you.
No, not only sugar levels.
Okay, fine.
These are fatty acids.
Hello.
Maybe because of that. Yes.
Yeah, so I have basic question. For what reason, for what symptoms doctor recommend to go for a VLCFA, first thing. And second
Hmm.
thing is it possible to do, clinical exam instead of VLCFA to find for that particular problem which cover in VLCFA?
You can do clinical exam, but there is always a question: what if there is a VUS in clinical exam? Do you have an answer for that? Nobody has answer for VUS. So there are situations in Sandor itself where the clinical exam report was giving VUS dropping doctor into a confusion whether to be considered it as pathogenic or non-pathogenic. But this metabolomic analysis would reveal whether it's positive or negative directly. Whether you have to consider that as a disorder or you can leave it as a normal. That is the reason we have to specifically check for so that is the importance of the metabolites over here. You're checking for a gene in clinical exome. It is telling you whether it is pathogenic or non-pathogenic. Pathogenic or non-pathogenic. If it is non-pathogenic, it is reported, but still patient has features like related to VLCFA. Say suppose this is clinically suspicion of VLCFA, but your clinical exam report has given VUS. So what next? We have to check for the compounds, which I've said like 5 compounds, nothing but pristanic, phytanic, C24, 22, and 26. If these analytes are elevated or decreased, then you can say surely 100% it falls into that disorder. Your metabolomic picture will never let you put in any confusion. This is 100% assurance which I give from my experience. Got my point?